Hello out there, YouTube. This is Swig Novice bringing you the final episode of Hyperdimension Neptunia. Well, not the final episode, but the final story episode. Well, not the final story episode, but the final story episode that you're technically going to see without me having to cut a whole bunch of stuff together. So, it's been a week since the last time I recorded an episode. Reason why is because I started working on the extra videos for this, as well as I got some other stuff, and if you've been paying attention to my channel, you've seen that. But that's neither here nor there. So we're going to go ahead and continue on with the story. This is actually the final story part that you're technically going to see. I just stated that. I don't know necessarily why I restated it. But we're trying to finally figure out what's R4's purpose in doing this. We realize that R4 is the person who's behind all of this and a whole bunch of other stuff. And R4 is not really talking, but they're about to explain it. And they go a really roundabout way of explaining it, so I'm going to explain all the cutscenes that's about to come up right now. It'll be much easier that way. If R4 destroys the world, so the goddesses don't really have control anymore. With her sort of old pseudo-goddess powers that she still has, just the fact that for some strange reason they didn't take away her powers in the first place, and just the fact that she's got a whole bunch of faith from all these other followers who believe in, oh, by the way, spoiler alert, who believe in Overlord Momus. She has her own goddess sort of, yeah, she has her own goddess stature, and it's just the whole big old thing. It's effectively, if you want to think about it like a computer, it's like the old admin coming back with passwords that he secretly wrote to take over the computer system. That's technically how it is. If she destroys the world, then she can overwrite Histoire, because Histoire won't be able to stop her to give her as much power as possible. So she's not trying to destroy the world, she's trying to become the true goddess that was mentioned in the very beginning. So effectively, she'd be able to do whatever she wanted to. That's effectively what it comes down to. And that's pretty much the only explanation I have to do for the next... How long is this video? 30 minutes? Yeah, I didn't skip a lot of the attack animations for the final boss fights, because there's no reason to. And plus, you get to see the goddesses in one of these fights, and the goddesses are extra cool. You won't see the goddesses again until I do the battle video. And the battle video is not being nice. But anyway, this is the first of 3 fights, I believe. Now, there is a lull in between the first fight and the second fight, and then I think the second fight goes straight into the third fight, if I remember correctly. I recorded this a few weeks ago, but things kept coming up, so I wasn't able to commentate over it. Also, this is a custom, I suppose, section, because I like to stay pretty balanced. I mentioned this in my battle video. I like to stay pretty balanced when it comes to my characters, but I made Neptune a little bit more around attack power while she can still keep her decent speed. Because if you weigh her down too much with strength and intelligence parts, she's going to lose on the agility side. But anyway, I'm going to go ahead and stop talking here. I'm going to let you guys listen to the rest of this until we get to the actual endings. Well, until we get to the final cutscene before the final boss fight.
だまだ戦えるわ。ということでゲーム業界が平和になるの。私はこの切り裂け。まだだ。まだ私は次も期待してもらっても構わないわよ。この調子でどんどん強くなるわよ。
So, coming back in. We're going to go ahead and attempt to escape from R4. And when you escape from R4, there's actually a break in between. I want to say, I don't know why I'm thinking that there's two R4 fights here. There may only just be one. I don't quite remember. So yeah, you actually pop out to go back in and do the next fight. It's a little annoying, but it actually allows you to save in between, so that's kind of helpful. So, we can't take down R4 because she's still getting power, and I've explained this in the first portion of this video. But here's where the whole entire thing about Overlord Momus comes back. Now, however, the type of servitude that humans give happens to affect their powers and a little bit of their form, as we're going to see very soon. So this is kind of like cheating, but I don't necessarily know why or how it actually works, or why none of the other goddesses have tried something similar. Well, maybe because they're good people. Also, the majority of this game does not change if you have the goddesses. You get a few extra events here and there, but some of these conversations actually change a little bit. You'll get one of the goddesses actually speaking up and chiming in for a line here and there. The ending completely changes. But yeah. So this is the second fight that you have with R4. I'm gonna go ahead and skip this fight ahead of this fight. I'll pop back in when I get to the final fight of this.
めるものか。私が。
ナイスタイミングでしょ。これくらい私には余裕よ。別に褒めレベルアップ。
So this is semi breaking the fourth wall, not really, due to the fact that, well, this is a gaming world and gaming is a big part of it.
無駄です。もうあなたにそんな力は残っていないでしょ。今ならまだあなたの傷も書き直すことができるかもしれない。
バカな。私の望みは世界を滅ぼし、施しなどお呼びではない。黙れ。
でもマジコンヌは自分を変えるために師匠の力で書き換えるんじゃなくて。
Yeah, there's not really all that much to say at this point in time, but we're actually about to come across the final form of R4, which is completely different from every other R4 that we fought in this game. And it's at this point in time where you kind of start to see that R4 is losing herself. And it's due to the type of power that she gets from her followers. So if the wrong feelings are coming, then the power changes. Now this is one of the very few, this is the only boss in the game that actually changes depending on how many goddesses you have or not. Now there are some bosses I wouldn't recommend fighting without having the other goddesses, but that's a completely different story. So we're about to come up against R4's final form, and there's a big difference between the two final forms. We'll go ahead and mention this here because I had to record this episode like 3 different times. Well, actually, I didn't record this episode 3 different times, but it was originally like 2 hours long, and as you can see, it's been cut down to 51 minutes. And the reason why is because a lot of bad things happened with my true final boss fight. The bad things that happened were things like, well, forgetting to change out my party because last time I used that party, I was getting the revive trophy. Or say R4, true R4 happening to go first, which she actually does have the chance of doing, and one-shotting my Neptune from full health, which shows how powerful this boss is. Well, not this boss, but the next boss you're going to see. Now, you've probably seen the transformation now, so I'm going to actually skip through a lot of this fight. Mainly because you just see me use all these attacks like, I don't know how many times in the last video. Or the last portion of this video. And this is the main attack you're going to see from R4. Sadly, it's not anything special. Yeah, as you can see that did about, I don't know, a third of my life. The other one, the other form, kills you. One shots. Also, the music still isn't anything special. There's only one track that I really like in this game, and it was a factory that we escaped from. That's about the only track in the game I like. Well, besides the opening. And the ending theme is not that bad. But yeah, once you've broken her down, it's over. As a matter of fact, if you paid any kind of attention, you've noticed that the only person who's attacked has been Neptune. I've blocked with everybody else because there's no reason to attack with anyone else. I'm actually talking to you just like I don't know why. Oh well, too late for that now. Also, I'm recording this commentary after the battle commentary, and I'm just going to make a short little note about Red. Red isn't as bad as I'm going to make it sound in the battle commentary, and she's a physical all-attacker, not a physical multi-hit like I said that she was. She's not great, but she's not absolutely abhorrent.
今度こそ倒したよね。急にドラゴンになった時は世界の半分をお前にやろうとか言われるんじゃないかと思って焦ったよ。世界を滅ぼそうとしてたマジェコンヌさんが。でもネプコ、もしあげるって言われてたらもらってたの？さすがの私もみんなの前でどう
Anyway, we're just sitting here and doing the wrap up and everything. There's not really too much to go over. So I'm going to go ahead and pause it again here and then skip ahead to the actual ending of this game. And I'm actually going to go through this ending first before I actually go to the true final boss and the true ending. So, yeah. See you in a couple minutes.
さっきのドラゴンがその3度目でしょ。っていうか、なんか言い回し遠くない？間違えて覚えてる言葉もあるのね。ごめんです。戦い続きでちょっとお腹が空いちゃったです。そういうネタはネプコの担当だと思ってたんだけど、ひとまずここ離れない？
So, we're falling back on solid ground and we're trying to decide where we're going to go. We're actually in Planet Neptune because that's where we left from. And so, we decided that we're going to sit down and talk about this. And Neptune wants to go to Compass. And everyone else is like, why don't we go ahead and go to the Planet Neptune Basilicom? Because this is technically the first time we've been there. It's not really. We've actually been there before. But for some strange reason, the person that we met in the very beginning of the game didn't recognize that we were the goddess the first time, so we have to go back in there again. So it's not really anything happens for the rest of this, for this scene. Besides Neptune not wanting to go because she feels like it'd be awkward. But we're actually coming up on the ending of this game, and this is the main ending. If you don't recruit all of the goddesses, that's the only thing that changes this. How many goddesses you recruit, if any. I don't quite remember if not recruiting Neptune's memory or not regaining Neptune's memory changes the ending or not to a bad ending. Never bothered checking. But the normal ending, in my opinion, is a little bit happier of a happy ending. It doesn't really matter. Neither of them are really canon, if you really... Well, the normal ending could be canon, but the true ending is not canon. It's not possible to be canon.
まさか本当にパープルハート様ですか？ですが確かにそパープルハート様、長い間一向にお姿を現さず大変心配しておりました。しかしなぜそのように出歩いておられるのです？周りの方々は。
So yeah, he didn't recognize us, and there's nothing to say at this point. I'm sorry for all of the dead time, but there's just nothing, absolutely nothing to say at this point. But the ending does change a few things. Your actual ending change. If you get recruit the goddesses, 3 different things changes. if you, number one, the final boss changes. The final boss becomes much more difficult if you have all the goddesses. Number two, now, here's the difference. If you recruit 0 goddesses, 1 goddess, or 2 goddess, then you have the same final boss, and it doesn't change your ending. So you have to have all 3 bosses, all 3 goddesses to get a different final boss. The second thing that it changes, the second major change, is the actual ending itself. Things go completely differently than how you're going to see them going here. And the last thing that's going to change is the final image, the thanks for playing image, which my battle video won't be uploaded before this video is, but you get the thanks for playing image is just going to change a little bit. Yeah, there's not really anything to say. But at this point, we're finally having our chat with Histoire, and we're trying to decide what we're going to do about the monsters. And this would be the point of where the ending really changes. Well, since we don't have the goddesses, nothing really happens at that point. We've decided that there's not going to be any more monsters than there are right now, and we're pretty much going to travel the world and get rid of all monsters. That's effectively what this ending is. Especially since we know what we're doing. And talking about ridiculous monster numbers, there is one mission, it's the only mission in this entire game I have not finished, where you have to kill 99 monsters. And it's a random spawn. You have to kill 100 of them. Sorry, I had to rough cut there. And for some strange reason, they decided that, number one, it was perfectly fine to have these monsters spawn one at a time as their most common appearance. Number two, not having them the only monsters in the dungeon. And number three, just making it an all-around terrible mission. It's the dumbest mission I've seen in this game, and that says something. So most likely I'm going to cut out here, and you're not actually going to hear me again until probably the actual true ending, because there's not too many differences until you hit the point where you get inside of Planet Neptune's Basilicon. I mean, there's a few things that the girls object to here and there, but there's not the biggest difference. Credits roll, that's Hyperdimension Neptune, the normal ending. Now there's a little bit of an afterword where the characters break their fourth wall and talk directly to you. All around this game, I like this game, but it's not one of my favorite JRPGs. I don't know why I'm wrapping up here, because you're going to hear me again, so I might as well wrap up there. So ignore what I just said. And since this is a very laid-back JRPG, I'm being very laid-back when I'm talking about this game. If this game was much more serious, I would be much more serious about it. Anyway, I'm gonna cut out here. I will see you again at the ending. Have fun watching the goddesses destroy our...
かなかやる。
いつでも相手になって差し上げますわ。
まだだ。
30秒で片付けるよ。
攻撃など
行きますわ。手数はありません。私直撃コースですわ。いいでしょう。一度に全員の相手をやられないのよ。私も高くてもと言っても無駄だ。
一度に全員の相手を受けてみなさい。怒涛ターゲット保持。よし、これでもっと強くなったです。レベルアップやり。今度こそ
破れたり汚れて文字が消えたり。優しく。
まあもしコンパの心配通りもう一度現れたとしても、
そうは言いますけど、次にマジェコンヌさんが現れるようなことがあったら。
大丈夫よ、任せておいて。負けないくらい強くなってれば済む話なんだから。
頼もしいですわね。やっぱり愛ちゃんはとっても頼りになりますわ。マジェコンヌさんがまたいつ現れようと、たとえモンスターが残っていようと。
なんか私一人みたいに捉えてない？もちろんみんなでよ、みんなで。
備えあれば憂いなしとも言うです。少なくともマジェ
備えるのは自由だけど憂いはある。少なくとも私は備えて、それが報われなかったら憂う。マジェコンヌが心配な人だけ。
そんなはずないです。おじいちゃんが言ったことですよ。間違いはないで。
じゃああなたは雨が降った時のために会社に置き傘をして、それで雨の日に
それは憂うです。きっとなんでそんな余計なことをしたんだろうって。
さらに降っているのが雨じゃなくって湿り雪とあられのセットだったら、
そんな日は外に出ないです。ごめんです。戦い続き。
そういうネタはネプコの担当だと思ってたんだけど、
深海にはここ以外に建物とかないですか？名所とか。
ご飯が食べれるようなとこはないかな。でも変だね。
それは女神様だけなんです。他にも深海にいる間の女神様は病気にかからないし。
さすが深海、さすが女神様。ここに大陸があったらそこを守護する。
とりあえず下界まで戻ってきたけど、これからどうするの？
今後のこともあります。ならなんで私ネプテューヌさんの大陸の境界です。 だって記憶が戻ってから一回も顔出してないもん。まだ気まずいよ。それにパパの部屋の方が落ち着けるよ。なんで知ってるです？それじゃあネプネプは入れたくないです。妖怪さんの。
ちょっと待って。教会ならラステーションの教会に行きましょう。ネプテューヌのとこよりずっと居心地いいわよ。私の部屋なら広々してるし、可愛い洋菓子も無農薬の最高級茶葉で作ったブレンドティーも出すわ。でもそれでしたらビーンボックスの教会も負けてはいませんわよ。お抱えのパティシエがいますもの。オープンテラスもありますし、使うのは初めてですから少し。
ルビーの教会もいい。年中冬だから暖炉もこたつもある。少し遠いけど私も話すなら慣れた場所がいい。
別にどこでもいいけど、総合的に見たら近さ優先でプラネティウヌの境界でいい。全然総合的じゃない。
So, we're finally back in the Basilicom, except this time we're dragging all the goddesses with us. And this is going to change things a lot. Not this actual dialogue, but the dialogue that comes next. Because if you're paying attention in the first ending, you notice that Histoire says something about all the monsters in the world. But it seems like the conversation kind of ends awkwardly as she wants to say something but technically can't. Here's the actual complete conversation, which you have to have all the goddesses for. Also, wasn't it cool seeing all those goddesses destroy the final boss? That's really the great thing about this game. If you have the goddesses, it's absolutely insane.
一旦者を通じて大陸各所にマジェコンヌを倒しても一度召喚され。そうです。
So, since we have the four goddesses here, they actually have the power of the true goddess as long as Histoire consents to it. And this is kind of important. Well, this is really important because this makes a completely different ending than the ending that we already know at this point in time.
師匠の中身をその力を使えば今の世界を。確かにそれでモンスターがいなくなるのは便利だけど、でも一体何がどう反則なの？モンスターを。
This is how things change. Histoire notes that we can get rid of all of the monsters using all the goddesses all together at once. And there's going to be arguing back and forth between this because Neptune and Vert do not want to get rid of all the monsters. They want to actually take down the monsters themselves because it feels like it's cheating. Blanc and Noir, on the other hand, are like, let's get rid of the monsters because it will help out our people.
モンスターをきっちり全て倒すことは女神としての。
そう、私もそう言いたかったんだよ。コンパもイースンをわかんないです。
But what it really comes down to is they're kind of being selfish. So, yeah, that's effectively how this goes. There's not really anything to say about this ending, except for the very end of it. So we've gotten rid of all the monsters, or that's what we're going to do.
困ってるのは住んでる人たちだもの。いなくな。これは2対2ですね。もっと喜んでくれると思ったのに。
私もモンスターを消せるならそれでいい。だけど
Because what's more important, your pride or your people? And that's what it comes down to.
そうよね。でも あなたたちは本当にそれでいいの？少なくとも私はまた当分協力するつもり。
二人ともひとまずここは意地を捨てたら？女神様が。
わかりましたわ。そうですわよね。
私はいい。遠慮。
Still, nothing is happening, so there's nothing really to talk about at this point. I apologize for my window that's making so much noise.
できるだけ早くプラネティモンスター退治が長引けば長引くほど学校は休校のままだし卒業だってできないじゃない。それはもしかして本末転倒です。
And this is the reason why Neptune changes her mind. She doesn't want Kampa to feel awkward, that at least in the English translation. I don't necessarily know the Japanese translation because I haven't really paid that much attention to this part since the very first time I played this game. And I'm still not paying that much attention to it now because there's no point. This doesn't matter. This ending does not matter. If this ending actually happened, then the second one wouldn't exist.
いいよ。カンパが早く学校卒業して大人になりたいって言うならやぶさかではない。ネプネプありがとうです。はいはい、めでたしめでたし。
Now, there's another part to this ending, and this is the part that actually is the reason why this ending is not canon. So all the goddesses meet in a field on planet Neptune for some strange... Oh, well, they meet in the field in planet Neptune still for some strange reason, because I don't know why they couldn't have done it from planet Neptune's Basilicom.
4人で私に触れて演じてください。
So that they can make the change so that people... So that all the monsters will be eliminated.
意識を揃えるこいつらと。
一番合わせにくいのは私だよ。
So the girls have a little discord, which isn't something that you should be surprised about. They've been fighting until extremely recently.
そりゃ
I really wish this would hurry up so I can go ahead and explain the last part of this and the reason why this ending is not and cannot be canon.
でもとにかく今はそういった雑念は横に置いて意識を
そうは言っても急には無理。ただでさえ最近まで争ってた。
そうよね。マジェコンヌが倒れてわだかまりも取れたけどしこりみたいなものはまだ奥の方に残ってる。それはお互いそうなんだろうけどやっぱり歪み。
私はそうでもありませんわよ。お二人は特に考え込むたちなので。
一番の被害者は私だよ。勝手に事態を軽く捉えないで。いいよ、水で流して足しにでも何でもしてあげるから。今は協力しよう。
And it's really actually a very stock ending. The way that it ends is all the goddesses. I'm going to go ahead and explain it here because I'm sitting. We still have like what 2 minutes to go before they finally get to it. So actually, I'm going to pause.
はい仕切り直し。
皆さん思い出してください。他の目がきっと寄り添えます。きっとそうだよね。今ならわかるかも。自分のいいところ、みんなのいいところ。だから好きにだってなれる。イース、ありがとう。もう私たちは大丈夫。モンスターを。はい。
うん。
So this is the craziness that is the ending.
私は深海を
Yeah,
守
all
り
of a
ますが
sudden, all the goddesses
皆
just
さんは
decided
どう
they
し
want
ま
to
す
quit their jobs.
しばらくこのまま
Why?
残って
No one really knows. It's the weirdest thing, and I don't really get this ending or why it's even in here because it'll effectively mean the end of the series. I guess they could have gone from a
女神様をやめ
mortal
る
sort of
そんなことできるわけないじゃないですか
back to being goddesses. I don't necessarily know,
誰
but
が次の女神様を想像するんで
that's effectively this ending. They all decide that they're all sisters and they're all going to resign and give the powers to the next goddess you create, whoever that might be, even though it was shown with R4 that both the goddess and our Histoir have to get together to create the goddess. So yeah, so many things are just out of order with this ending and are just really weird, really weird. And then, last but not least, this ending can't possibly be canon because if you played Hyperdimensional 2,
わかりました
Hyperdimensional Neptune 2, then you notice that all the goddesses seem to still have all of their powers. But oh well,
これでよし
this is effectively Hyperdimensional Neptune 2. Hyperdimension Neptune. For some strange reason, I still can't talk.
ここから歩いて教会に帰るのよね。教会に帰ってくる力も返す
I hope you enjoyed the game and enjoy the rest of the ending. I will see you whenever I make the next game, which I have no idea what that's going to be. Anyway, this is Suike Novus, signing out for the night.
もしかしたらこれもマジェコンヌさんの一そう考えると今更ですけど姉妹のようではなくって
そこの部外者携帯持ってるでしょ。ギルドの携帯ならここから
あなただけずるい。迎えに来てもらうつ
そんなのダメだよそうですね急に力を失った女神様なんてそれでは下界のことはお願いします分かった任せといてよでももし間違ったことをしてたりしたら容赦なわかりました任せておいてくださいこうしてハード戦争は幕を閉じました女神たちの死後世界に平和が訪れると同時に事実は過去のこととしてですが彼女たちの導きによるものかどうか定かではないものの